Hello everybody, this is Alexis Cabrera and welcome to this very special module where I'm going to be talking about how to create elements in our track from any given sound. It can be samples, loops, recording from the internet, sampling. It can also be, for example, preset from scenes that you don't like. So I'm going to try to do this sort of reverse engineering where you can get something actually useful. Let's start. So I have here this project with a couple of groups, actually three, so maybe we can do different things. For example, I have this first one, which is something more like a breakbeat with two kick drums, couple of snares, couple of hi-hats, just to have the groove, the basic groove. Then I have something a little bit different, where I recorded this kick drum from a modular, so that's why I wanted to have this analog feeling. You see that sometimes some kicks are a bit darker, filtered. Also I did the same with the snare, that some snares are a little bit filtered up. Hi-hats pretty much the same. This one is from the 909, so we have a classic kind of sound. And then I have another one which is more like with 808 kick drum. This is a mix of claps and two acoustic hi-hats. Basically, it's just to have the basic groove, just to have a context. So what I want to start doing is, for example, with the bass line, okay? Because normally is what we will do. I'm gonna try to get a bass line from the most shitty sound ever, so then I can just come back, you know, to the sound that we want. This is sort of, if you want to call it, this sound design, but in a reverse way, not starting from zero, but starting from a given sound. So, for example, let's use something like Moog Mini, you know, something like this, and then just gonna try to use something really, really far away. For example, effects. Let's see what we have here. Maybe something even more crazy. Yeah. Yeah, something like this, for example. Okay, so the first thing that we should do is like try to keep it really simple. In this case, we have this one that we have 3 oscillators, so that's why let's try to turn off everything that is actually off, off, off. It's only one is turned on, and then modulation to the oscillator we don't want, so that's why I just turn it off. These ones I don't care because at the moment we are not using it. So let's see what we have. Okay, so then what else? In this case I know that we have internal effects, so that's why I'm gonna just turn off everything. There you go. And then modulation, I don't need any kind of modulation, that's why I'm just gonna leave everything in 0. There you go. I can just turn it off from here. All right. So now we are keeping it really simple. Now it's just a matter of filtering it. And then we need to apply a little bit of envelope. Yeah, it was on, this one, sorry. There we go. Now let's go to a normal octave. Okay, so now I don't want legato. I don't want to do this, so that's why I'm just going to turn off everything. There you go, that's it. So now just to create this normal sequence, we are going to use the mono sequencer in this case. I synchronize, so every time I start the sequence, I start always from the same place. So let's just randomize it, like poof, just like this, something very, very random, and then with the octave low, and let's keep everything under the scale that, for example, let's use some Dorian scale, like that, and let's see if we can have it in, let's say, in E Dorian, like that. So that's why let's have some E's, right? So then we are sure that we are in E Dorian. like this. We have something like this. So let's try something different a little bit. Like that, no? There you go. We already have a baseline from... Maybe this baseline can work better with. Yeah. Something like this, for example. And then if we want to put a little bit more in the front, the baseline, we need to increase a little bit the resonance, and then a little bit of envelope, you see? So we have more graspy sound. In this case, a little bit more acid. If you want more acid feeling, then you just need some resonance. Oh, it's not bad. So we have this. Okay, so now let's keep going. Let's try to get now sort of background percussions, background, like a layer of drums or something like this. So that's why, again, let's try to look for the most horrible thing. No, you know what? Let's sample something. I'm gonna sample something from the internet. I have this one ready. Is this guy playing? You know, some congas, something like this. I think it's very cool. But anyways, like this. Okay. I'm gonna wait a little bit. I'm gonna record a couple of things. Like this, maybe we can go more in the front, see what he got. Nice. Excellent. Okay, so I think I think we have enough. Okay, thank you, Conger. There you go. So I can leave it, for example. Yeah, let's keep it all the way. Something like this. 13. This is alright. So we have it. No, like this. Okay, so now I want some background percussion sound, but not so, not so raw, not so dry. Actually, I'm gonna quantize it. So that's why, boom. And then it's Command U, just to quantize everything. Before doing the Command U, just be careful. Press Command Shift U, so then you can have this division 16 and then 100%. So now we are sure that. Yeah, there you go. You see, sometimes we have this kind of glitchy background sound. So that's why let's get rid of those with the transient, and then we shorten the decay. You know, like this. Also, we don't have that reverb that I had the original one, so I can add something on top if I wanted. So let's see what happens with this one, just as it is. Okay. Okay, we have this, all right? So now what I want to do is to start destroying the sound, because I want to get something totally different. We can start messing up with the transposition, with the pitch of the actual sample. And instead of, doing it, in the right place, and, okay, in this sound, I want to, change the pitch. No, I can do it in a different way. I can unlink it. I can unlink only this parameter, so I'm creating a loop for only this parameter. So that's why I can mess up a lot. It sounds like this. Let's see. Even more. Let's mess it up more. Yes. Yeah, this is what I want. Nice. And now what we can have is, you know, the rhythm is kind of random. Maybe I can have something more steady, more loopy, at least with the volume. So that's why, again, I'm going to unlink it, but I'm going to create a loop or a pattern of only one bar, always in 16, so then it's easier. Pressing B, you change from pencil to the normal cursor. So, and then I can have certain steps. For example, I'm gonna get only the step number 3, like this, then 6, 7, 8, not the 9th, 10, 11, and then is 13. This is the 14, 15. Okay, let's see what we have like this. Yeah, like this. Okay. Nice. Okay, so a little bit more. Let's go a little bit further. So let's use, for example, a filter. I really love the one for pump filter. It's called Volcano. So this is like having a modular and an effects, and it's amazing. So that's why. Okay, so let's start. I'm gonna leave the panning in 0, and let's use the raw. Every filter has a different character, so that's why I encourage you to experiment and to try different ones. So in this case, let's use, for example, an envelope follower. So that every time it receives or it gets a trigger or a sound, it's going to trigger this envelope, and then I can modulate the frequency of the filter, something like this. Something like that. So now we are getting somewhere. So now we have something. And then, of course, since the recording is already, you know, with a lot of dynamic, which could be something really cool, but let's say that we don't want this. We don't want so much change in the volume. So that's why we will need to compress. I will compress it actually after the filter, because the way that the envelope follower reacts because of the volume is different. So that's why it would be cool to have different reactions in the envelope follower, and then afterwards I'm gonna compress. So I want to get a heavy compression. That's why the ratio all the way up, attack absolutely nothing, so then it can start compressing right away. Also the look ahead should go on like this, so you can see, okay, we still can compress even more, something like this. So you see that we are compressing a lot, and then the auto gain, of course, without, because I want to control the overall volume. Now, this is what I'm talking about. You see, we have a more steady signal. Anyways, let's try to get some dynamics. You see that we have some really quiet points, and then we have louder ones. So this is not bad. It's actually cool. So like this. Something like that. Let's see how it works with this loop. Nice. Okay, so let's try to do something similar, but with another. Let's see, for example, some libraries. What can that be? Okay, Arab percussions. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it with this one. So remember, first, what I will do in this case, because I want to get a layer of drums, so that's why I will synchronize it like this. This is okay, this is like a feel, so this is alright. And then let's shorten a little bit the decay. So now transport unlinked. Let's get a crazy length, something like this in 16. And now let's do something like that. Boom, boom. Really low, like this. Yeah, something like this. Okay, so let's see. Nice. Okay, shorter. Something like this. Excellent, I think. And then with the volume, we can also get a different pattern. So let's do it in 2. So I will get the first step, the third step, and the fourth. Then something like this. Not the 9th, 10th, 12th, not the 13th, and the 14th, and the 15th. Something like this. And we still didn't even talk about effects, okay? So I'm trying to get the source as close as I can from what I want. Something like this. Let's use now a filter. For example, let's use, I don't know, this auto filter. Let's see what we can do. It has also an internal envelope. So we have a sort of similar reaction. No, and now I can add even an LFO, for example. There you go. Now we can get also more layers of drums. Let's see with this one. It's a bit too loud there. There you go. Okay, let's try to get now, with the same sequence, same everything, but let's get another bass line from another instrument, something, again, really different, and then we can come back. Let's use something, for example, wavetable, and let's get some effects. All right. Okay, let's see with this one. Nice. Okay, so let's start with the matrix, because we don't want any kind of modulation. This is the first thing, so I just come back everything to 0. I don't know what it's doing, but I'm putting everything to 0. Then in this case, in this synth is polyphonic, then we need to be sure that it's monophonic. So, and then glide, no glide at all. Then what else? Resonance, 0. We don't want 2 filters, we want only 1. So that's why this one, let's use the clean one in 24 pole. Like this. Okay, now tone, let's leave it to 0. Gain to the default. Transpose 0. What else? Volume. Let's use only 1 oscillator. Do you remember? Let's keep it simple. Let's see what we have so far. And what else? Okay, then it's a matter of getting the sound that we are looking for. Yeah, let's keep this up. And then you can also, change from here. You have the wavetable. The good thing is that you have sort of banks of sounds, and then you have the actual sounds inside. So that's why you have different stuff. This is a very cool. It's a pretty cool sound. Maybe with this kind of. Yeah, and now we can talk about, getting a little bit of envelope to the filter. So that's why let's use the filter, the envelope number 2, something snappy, like this, and let's use the frequency envelope 2. Yeah, can you hear it? It has a lot of low end. Let's see it. And it's super stereo, so that's why let's also keep it. Let's keep it in mono. So I'm just gonna use only one side. There you go. You see that we have a lot of sub low frequencies. We will need to cut this afterwards, but we can do that later. Like this, you know, that you can really identify the note. Otherwise, we can keep it really sub. Something like this. I like it more like this. And you can always change the original sound if you want. But you see how easy it is to come back from any kind of preset to the decent sound. You know, then you can start being more and more creative. For example, we can start adding like delays. In this case, let's clean it. This is another insane delay because again, we can change stuff with LFOs or stuff like this. So I'm gonna keep it only. So by now, I'm gonna keep it only one. Yeah, you see? Yeah, like this. And then I would like to change the tempo. Okay, you can get something very, very glitchy, for example, if you want. You know, something like this is kind of chaotic. But in this case, if I don't want to change the pitch of the repetitions when I change the tempo, then I need to change it to stretch. So I can get, you know, more steady kind of sound, you know, stuff like this. So let's try to something like this, like at the maximum. And then in this case, you know that it's modulating smoothly because of the waveform. So in this case, I can also do it, you know, more like a square kind of way. And then I can add more steps, you know, and I can get different points of the parameter, you know, stuff like this. And then in this case, it's gonna change it since the frequency isn't free, you know, so then it's gonna change it kind of too randomly. So let's keep it a little bit more organized. So every 4 bars is gonna do the whole thing. You know, I'm gonna add one more step, something like this. So I will get always the same pattern, and it would be nice to have it actually before the filter. There you go. So then I can modulate the repetitions as well. And if that's not enough, then we can also filter the repetitions. So let's do it with another LFO. Like this. Super nice. And then let's keep it also under control. Very low frequencies, let's keep it under control like this. And then I could also, for example, compress a bit, you know, so then it's not so crazy. Like this, without the auto gain. And then also classic is even faster, and then with the look ahead on, it's gonna react even better. Like that. In this case, it's acting almost like a limiter. So it won't go higher than this value. So let's see. So we have more like a background thing. Then you can even mess it up more. Like changing the pitch a lot. So we have even more background stuff. We can add, for example, some reverb if you want before the filters. Now I'm gonna use the one from Valhalla. know, something like this. Maybe another one like sanctuary. Yeah, something like this, and then we can have more rhythmic thing. Yeah, something like this. Like that. How to destroy a sound. Yeah, like this, and maybe a little bit less reverb. Yeah, something like that. And then at the end, what I can do is to keep everything under control with the same rhythm, so I can have a tremolo. A tremolo, I can get it with the auto panning, but with the phase in 0, and then with this shape and in 16. So it's also always like in 16 steps. Like this. You could also get it, instead of using the transients as a detector to reduce the decay, you can use it in 16, so it's always like this. There you go. Let's see with this one. Yeah, and imagine that instead of using percussion, you could use drums, you can use anything you want, actually. Any kind of sound. For example, let's see, instead of something percussive, let's try to get... I had some really horrible libraries. Synths. Let's see what we have in synths. Yeah, this one, for example. Like that. Okay, what we have? Yeah. Okay. What can we do with this? Okay. First thing, what I will do, I will maybe get only a couple of triggers, maybe every 2 bars. Okay. Let's make a pattern of 2 bars. So let's get it. This one, this step, not this step. No, this one. Then not this one. Then let's get only the second step. No. Pam pam. Maybe only this one, and then let's only get the second step of the new bar, right? This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's get the 7th and something like this. Yeah, and this one, for example, is a bit too much on the left. So that's why, again, I am going to get it in mono. And then I can open it however I want. So that's why I'm going to use just the left part, something like this. And then I can apply later on some extra effects, modulation effects. So let's see what I can do. Let's try to, okay, let's get a delay, for example, and let's try to get the same effects as before. You remember that, like changing this, but instead of, with the repeat, only with fade. So we can get something like this, but little amount of feedback, so we have only a few repetitions, and also not so intense, something like this. So that's why I'm gonna use now the LFO from Max for Live, and then I can modulate the tempo. So I will get something like a crazy tail. And if you want, we could even change the pitch, but only every now and then. So let's do it every 6. So let's do it maybe here. One nothing happened again. Okay, so in this one. You know, something like this. That's it. Only one note every now and then. And actually, I can get the loop even because it's gonna be always in the same. Even though it's 6, it's gonna be in the same part. So that's why let's do something like this. Something like this. So then it's gonna happen eventually in a different position. Let's even keep it more like this, like really, really crazy like that. Could be something like this, and then we can even, if we wanted, we can also have this. So it's shorter. And then since we have, this delay, then we have some tail in the sound. There you go. Then finally what we got, it was like this bass line in this case. Now we have also some background percussions. Like this. Also we have another layer. Crazy sounds actually, but it gives a character to the track, and then we get a sort of chord or main part of the track. That's it. Let's see with this one. Nice. All right. Okay, cool. So that's it. I can go even further. We still didn't even talk about pads, other kind of chords, other kind of sound. We can create even, the full drums if we wanted, also based on loops, based on sampling. I can also talk a lot about vocals, how to sample them, how can we process them. So, but this is an introduction of what we can do with different kind of sounds, with something that we will never use, but we can make them our own. Okay, so I hope to see you in the next one, and take care of yourself. Goodbye.